Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Hill with a View. I am your host, Moshe Hill, and I am very excited to be starting on this podcasting journey with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please remember to subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, rate and review us 5 stars. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to my Instagram at Hill with View. Subscribe to Facebook at Hill with View, to subscribe to my x.com at Hill with View. Please just subscribe everywhere you can. It'll help the channel grow, the platform grow, and get the word out to more and more people, which is just very important, because the answer to bad speech or ridiculous content that's going on online is more speech, and we have to have more speech to continue what we're doing to fight the good fight, because these ideas that other people have are not going away, so we have to counter them with our own ideas. And that brings me to what I want this show to be about. You know, I think that this show should be more than just whatever the news of the day is or the news of the week. I want it to be cultural. I want it to be talking about, I'll talk about movies that I loved from 30 years ago, and I wanted to talk about issues that hit the Jewish community hard and are evergreen and come up all the time. And I joke about this, but it's so true. You go back 45 years to Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live, and they're going to say, what happened in Israel this week? What happened in the news this week? Because Israel is always on the front of the topic. And that actually what brings me to the topic for this week. It's debunking the Israel First lies, the libel that are being pushed by the Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, all these online right-wingers, and I heavy quotes on the right-wingers. They're not really right-wingers. They don't believe in any conservative principles or ideology. They seem to exist only to push their own ridiculous concepts of how they think America should be. It should be a racial hierarchy. That's why they're called the woke right, because this hierarchy of racial ascendance and social justice that exists on the left, they're doing the same thing on the right. They do the social justice thing. They do the racial hierarchy thing. They just do it on the right wing. And they're not really right wingers. They don't believe in any conservative values. They never read Edmund Burke, or they don't listen to Thomas Sowell on the economy or anything like that. They push the same ridiculous false ideology that the left pushes, but they glom on because they can't get any traction on the left, because they're pushing white nationalist racial supremacy, and that makes them dislike the Jews, just like white nationalists have always disliked the Jews. And so they started this whole thing with Israel first. Oh, you're just Israel first. You're just Israel first. And they claim to be America first. They are not America first. There is nothing about them that is America first, okay? And the notion that they are more America first than any one of them, that anyone who I know, all the people I know who work hard to ensure that strong conservative people get into office, they question my loyalty because I wear a kippah, because I have a preference on a specific government policy, because that's what Israel is. Israel is a government policy in terms of America. All right? America has foreign policy issues with a lot of different countries. And I have a preference on how the relationship between the U.S. and Israel are. I work very hard to ensure that the U.S. and Israel have good relationships. I've been going on NORPAC. NORPAC's a great organization where you lobby Congress to ensure that members of Congress to ensure that you keep that strong U.S.-Israel relationship going. And I'm not going to get into why it needs to be strong, because how it's mutually beneficial. I'm not going to get into that today. Maybe on another show I'll get into that. But we need to ensure that it stays strong, okay? But I have nothing to prove to all of these people who claim to be America first. When did any of them ever stand at a train station at 5:30 in the morning handing out palm cards for a state senate candidate or a local race? When did they ever do that for the Republican Party or the right wing? When did they ever go door knocking town to town for a town councilman or a county legislator? I mean, I ran for county legislator. I know what it takes to run a campaign, but this is before I even ran. I know what it takes because I did it for years. I helped out candidates just because we needed these people in office at a local level to ensure that the conservative principles that we hold by are at every single level of government. It's not just enough to get a president in the White House. And that's how there's very short-sighted thinking. They're like, oh, we just got to get someone in the White House. We just got to get someone in the White House. You know how many layers of government there are between where you sit right now and the president of the United States? I can tell you right now, I have town, I have county, I have state assembly, state senate, I have supervisor executives in all those positions, I have governor, I have U.S. House of Representatives, I have U.S. Senate, and then you get to president. How many people is that? And you have to get every single one of them. You have to help every single one of them. But they don't do that. They're not America first. Did they ever go to a Little League game with a clipboard and collect signatures to get names on a ballot? Or stand at gas stations with Scott Pressler to register voters? I've done all of that. Okay? And because I have a preference on a specific government policy, I'm now Israel first, and I don't care about America? That's ridiculous. I know hundreds of people who have given up every weekend between Labor Day and Election Day getting out the vote. Do these guys do anything except for post on social media? They're keyboard warriors, every single one of them. They couldn't get a dog catcher elected, and they think they're gonna influence who the next president is gonna be. They will have no influence on who the next president is gonna be. Okay? They think they could swing a presidency. That's how ridiculous social media is, because and I can't honestly say anymore that social media isn't real life, because, you just got Zoran Mamdani elected in New York City. Okay? He was very big on social media. It does translate. I mean, obviously, Trump, Obama, they were also very big on social media. It does translate in certain ways, but it's not the be-all, end-all. But it also influences people in college campuses, and they take these ideas that they see on social media and they push them into the real world. So this is what we're seeing, and this is what we're fighting against, okay? So I just want to show you one clip that came out literally today of Nick Fuentes, chief Groyper, ridiculous white supremacist, Hitler-loving, Jew-hating. I'm trying to keep this clean. There's a lot of cursing I want to do right now, but then I have to press a certain button when I post this. And I'm just trying not to keep it explicit. But there are plenty of four-letter words to describe this guy. But listen to what he has to say.
And what if they got together and they opposed foreign aid to Israel? What approval rating do you think that would have? 90%? What if they got together and worked on the base? And we need to propel someone into the White House that is just a populist. And here's where we're going to have to give. This is going to be the compromise. Very simple. The left has to give up immigration. That's simple. We have to close it. Too many illegal immigrants. Too many legal immigrants. That has to be the compromise. The left has to give on immigration, and the right has to give on the free market.
I mean, it really doesn't come more plainer than that. He's willing to compromise something as essential as the free market, which is what created the incredible wealth that this country has, which has lifted more people out of poverty than anything else. And by the way, let's not pretend that we haven't compromised on the free market, by the way. Republicans have compromised on the free market for a very long time. I mean, we do not live in a free market system. We don't. I mean, let's not pretend that we do. But he's willing to compromise these things. And he's also willing to compromise a lot more because his number one focus is Israel. He wants to get enough people. First of all, the concept that pushing people against Israel is a 90-10 issue against Israel is insane. There's no polling data to us to permit that. Even at the height of the war in Gaza, when Democrats were going against Israel like crazy, okay, there's no evidence to claim that would be what would happen. That the people are against Israel in that way, that they're willing to compromise on the free market. Okay, but that's what he's willing to do. He's willing to compromise on the free market. He's willing to compromise. How many other basic Republican principles is he willing to compromise on? I mean, probably all of them, because he doesn't really hold any basic principles. I mean, there's plenty of clips of him talking about socialism, basically. He doesn't care about Americanism or anything like that. He doesn't care about America. There are clips of him saying that he hates America, that America should just be it's really there just to push Christianity, which I highly doubt he's very Christian. I mean, I don't know much about Christianity, but it doesn't sound like any Christian I know. Nothing about this Christian. But then another issue that people have all the time is that they think that Israel is everywhere. Oh, everywhere. They push Israel on us. No one pushes Israel on people in a regular daily life. Yes, we advocate in the government. And yes, if there's an attack on Jews, if there's swastikas painted, yes, we say something about it. And we want people to condemn anti-Semitism. I don't think that's too much to ask for. But the idea that we're interrupting daily life to push Israel is nonsense. And I could tell you, because you see that the pro-Palestinian side does that all the time. Once again, I got these clips just today. I'm scrolling through social media and I see a bunch of clips and I just save them because I know that I wanted to look at them. I didn't have to search for these. These just come up on a regular basis. But take a look at this. This is, if you can't see, this is a Georgetown University. A student tried to break in to an event. Tried to break into an event. Then there's another one at the JFK airport. You can hear what they're chanting. There's another one. Someone is spray painting "Never Again Is Now" on a statue. It's a dude wearing a dress. I'd love to see that guy walk around Gaza. And then at McGill College, pro-terror students take over a classroom. They, if you can't hear or if you can't see, just hear what they're saying. They went into a classroom and they said, "We're striking. Why are you all in class right now? We signed a strike letter. We demand that you leave your classroom that you paid for, that you're spending money on, that you want to get a good grade in, that you don't care about our issue. We'll make you care about our issue." That's what the Palestinian side does. And they invert that and say that that's what the pro-Israel side does. Okay? Accusing someone of being pro-Israel on this policy, accusing them of this, is like if you are so strong on immigration, on illegal immigration, and saying, you're not America first, you're immigration first. That's all you care about. You just care about immigration. You don't really care about the economy or any other issue that are facing America at any given point. Wars and attacks and riots in the streets. You don't care about that. You're immigration first, which means that you only care about one issue, which means that you're not America. You don't care about America. No, Israel is a policy, is a foreign policy of the United States that we care about, and we're allowed to care about it and still be Americans. And don't you dare question our allegiance to this country. Because what you're basically saying is that if it ever came down to it, that there was a war between America and Israel, which, by the way, there's never been a war between two Western-style democracies, ever. I mean, that's never happened, at least not in the last 150 years. If you want to say that England attacking America in the War of 1812 counts, or the North invading the South in the Civil War counts, I wouldn't count either of those. But in the last 150 years, there hasn't been two Western-style democracies going to war with each other. That's not how Western-style democracies deal with these issues. And if you want to make that claim, that they would go to war, which is a ridiculous claim. What you're basically saying is you got to round up all those Jews like they did with Japanese internment, put them in an internment camp. That's what they're basically saying is, oh, you're Israel first. That means if it comes down to it, we can't trust you. That's what the dual loyalty trope is. We can't trust you. Yarmulke wearer, kippah wearer, tzitzis wearer. You got to round you up. That's what they want to do. So let's debunk the Israel first claim. All right. They have a few things that they talk about all the time. They bring up the same points over and over again, just like the people who don't believe in the moon landing or believe the earth is flat. Doesn't matter how many times you answer their questions. They're just asking questions. They're just asking questions. It doesn't matter how many times they get answers to their questions. They still want to ask them. Okay. So the first accusation that comes up all the time is AIPAC. AIPAC. Oh my gosh, AIPAC. Marsha. They talk about AIPAC like it is spending hundreds of millions of dollars every single year. It's in the pocket of every single person. You got to track AIPAC this, AIPAC that, AIPAC. Okay. AIPAC is a lobbying group. AIPAC is American. The register AIPAC is a foreign nation. Why? It's American. It's by Americans. It's funded by Americans. The people there are American. I go on NORPAC every year. Okay, that is a advocacy group that has a mission to Washington every single year that we talk to members of Congress. The first thing we say every single time is we are Americans. We are Americans. We care about issues. We care about Israel. That's what we care about amongst many other things. But right now we're here to talk about one thing in particular. We're allowed to. That is our right as Americans. That is our right. And we will not give that away. Okay? But they say AIPAC, owns Congress. So Americans aren't allowed to donate to political candidates that agree with them? Right-wingers, America first, I'm sure you like the Second Amendment. I mean, I know you're not really right-wingers, but let's assume you like the Second Amendment. This is exactly what the left says about the NRA. It's exactly what the left says about the NRA. The NRA owns Congress. They own the Republicans. They own this. They own that. They spend so much money, so much this, so much that. You wouldn't do this unless you were in the NRA's pocket. You wouldn't do that unless you were in the NRA's pocket. Let me tell you, the NRA, AIPAC, these don't even rank in terms of lobbying groups. Big Pharma is a powerful lobbying group. Every one of the unions, teachers unions, nurses unions, labor unions, those are all the lobbying groups. That's who lobbies. That's who spends the money. These don't. AIPAC doesn't rank. I think it's 80? Number 80 in terms of lobbying? Not even close. Maybe lower. It doesn't even rank. It is incredibly low. But it's a boogeyman. They want to say it's a boogeyman. They say it owns Congress. They own this. They own that. Let me tell you, I didn't get any AIPAC money when I ran my campaign. If they own everybody, why not throw a couple $100 to every county legislator? Throw something out there. If I could just get money. By the way, speaking of which, I'm not getting any money from Israel for this. I wish they paid me $7,000. I would love to have $7,000 from them. Where do I sign up? I do this for free. I support Israel for free. I spend money to support Israel. Because I care about it. And guess what? I spend money to support a lot of American causes, a lot of other causes. I spend money to go to CPAC every year to talk about conservative issues. I spend money. I spent my own money going to Trump's inauguration. I did that because I wanted to go there. I spend money. I go spend my time listening to people talk about the fentanyl crisis. I spend my time talking about people who are harmed by the border crisis from the Biden era. How much time and money do I have to spend on every other issue so I could talk about another one of the issues that I care about? How much time and money do I need to spend on every single issue? Another thing that they talk about. So AIPAC owns Congress. Another thing is foreign wars. Everything is, we just do foreign wars on behalf of Israel. Okay? Actually, before we get to foreign wars, let's talk about foreign aid for a second. Okay? a huge thing they talk about is military aid to Israel. How dare America send $3.8 billion a year to Israel? Do you know where that money is going? I mean, listen, I have problems with foreign aid. And if you want to cut off all foreign aid to every single country, like Matt Walsh does, that's fine. You want to do that? That's one thing. But, and you want to say, okay, you don't want to push these left-wing causes in, LGBTQ education in Somalia or something like that. Like, I'm all on board. But just understand for a second what foreign aid to Israel is. Let's put quotes on that. Foreign aid. Okay? It's military aid, and it comes with massive strings. All right? So I'm going to do an analogy. I love analogies. So imagine you are a car dealership. Okay? And you're a very big car dealership. You manufacture engines. But you need to test them in the field. So you test them here and there, whatever. You have a contract with somebody, a racing team, okay? You manufacture the engines, but they're a racing team. So the racing team comes to you and says, hey, we're going to be spending a lot of money with you. We want to get a good engine. We think you have the best engines, okay? So here's what we need. We're going to buy a lot from you. Can you help us out? And they said, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll give you a 10% discount on our product. And in exchange, you give us the on the field, on the ground results of how our engines are working. And you let us know about any other competitors or other racing teams, any intelligence you may have about all this stuff, you share with us. And you're also only allowed to buy with us. You cannot buy anything from anyone else. That's the analogy, okay? The Israeli contract, it is a contract between Israel and America, where they're saying, we're going to give you $3.8 billion of aid. You got to spend that money in America. It's dollars. You got to spend it on American goods, on American military equipment. By the way, Israel spends $30 billion a year on American military equipment. During wartime, it's more. So they're spending billions and billions of dollars in America. It's a discount. It's a customer discount. That's what this aid is. And in exchange, Israel also gives America intelligence about what's going on in the Middle East, which is in America's interest. I know people don't think it is. Oh, you got to be alone. America alone. America doesn't care what's going on in the Middle East. America cares about what's going on everywhere. And Israel provides intelligence. And it also provides a place where their equipment, the military equipment, can be tested in the field. Because Israel tests these in the field because they have a lot of wars that go on. So they use their stuff a lot more than Americans do, than we do in America. Because we deal with it. So, and Israel improves on the technology. They give us back the technology that they improve on. That's our technology. It's a strong mutual relationship. So pretending that we're just throwing money at them because of Israel, because we're in their pocket, that America's in Israel's pocket, is ridiculous. It's insane. So then there's the America first, no more foreign wars for Israel. This has been debunked. How many times is this debunked? That Israel got America into Iraq. Israel didn't want America in Iraq. Israel didn't want America in Iraq the first time in the Gulf War in the early 90s. It didn't want them there. Because what happened when America attacked Saddam Hussein? Saddam Hussein shot rockets at Israel. Every single Israeli had gas masks in their homes preparing for Saddam Hussein's rockets with gas in it. They were preparing for it. They didn't want America in there. They didn't want them in 2003 either. They opposed it at every single point. The anti-Iran campaign, Israel did all the legwork. America came in, one bomb, that's it. Israel didn't want America to invade Iran. When Netanyahu came to speak to Congress in 2015, he's like, just don't do this nuclear deal. He just didn't want them to do a nuclear deal because it would be harmful. But the idea that they just want America to put boots on the ground in anywhere in these places. They don't want that. They never wanted that. So another big thing they have is the USS Liberty attack. Oh, the USS Liberty attack. They love to talk about the USS Liberty attack. Okay? The USS Liberty attack happened in 1967. 6-7. This was during the 6-Day War. Israel thought it was an Egyptian ship, and they attacked it. Guess what? It was a terrible thing. Israel agrees it was a terrible thing. That's why they paid reparations to the families of the victims. That's why they apologized. That's why they worked with the U.S. government to try to fix their mistake. It was a mistake in the fog of war. Something that happened. America did that to Britain and France during World War II and vice versa. Americas have shot American citizens, American soldiers during Vietnam and Korea and friendly fire incidents. These things do happen. And it was really bad. And they took responsibility for it. But that's not good enough. That's not a good enough answer for Candace Owens or for any of these people. They have to say, no. I know better. I know better. I know that they didn't mean it. I know that they did it on purpose. For why? How did Israel benefit in any way? It was during the 6-Day War. They did massive air bombing blitzes to every single one of the surrounding countries because the surrounding countries were attacking them. All right? If you want to know more about the 6-Day War, it's probably one of the most interesting military stories in history. It's incredible what Israel was able to accomplish in 6 days. But unfortunately, this also did happen. But you can't pretend that you're just asking questions, and then when an answer like that comes, even if you don't like the answer, that it's not an answer and that you're just asking questions. You're not just asking questions. You're making accusations because you have a specific political agenda, which is to destroy the Israel-America alliance. So then there's Jonathan Pollard. Okay, so Jonathan Pollard is something that they like to talk about all the time. Okay, so Jonathan Pollard is an American who spied on behalf of Israel, and he sold Israel secrets. Yes, this was terrible. This was really a bad thing that he did. And guess what? He got caught, and he served a prison sentence for decades, from 87 to almost 30 years, 2015 or so. He served a prison sentence for literally decades. Yeah, that's what happens when spies get caught. We don't execute spies anymore. That's not something we've done for. We don't execute anyone in America, really. And very few people are executed by the state. And so I don't know if they're annoyed that he wasn't killed, but he was caught. He served a sentence. And then after he served a sentence, he went back to Israel. Paid with a fight paid for by an Israeli. I don't understand. Like, yes, this is bad. This is not good. But what does that have to do with U.S.-Israel relations? I mean, America spies on her allies all the time. It's the issue that we don't like that they spied on us, so we have to break off all communications. Because in that case, we don't have any allies with the UK, with France, with Germany, with any Western country. Because we all spy on each other all the time. It's not great. I can tell you. Not great, Bob. I can tell you that. But that's literally just what happens. Nothing really anyone can do about it. I mean, you want all spying to stop? Fine. But that's great. But if you claim that this was just somehow completely unacceptable, then you have to claim that with everything. You have to claim that with all spying between all countries, which I noticed that nobody really does. Nobody really talks about anything else except for this one case. So that's why I can't really get crazy about Jonathan Pollard. Yeah, what Jonathan Pollard did was bad. I can agree on that. But we have to sever all communications? They're not really an ally? Then fine. We don't have any allies in that case. Is that really what you want to claim? Maybe they do want to claim that. I wouldn't claim that. Then there's the claim that that Israel anti-BDS laws are inhibiting free speech. So this is a claim from the left. Really, the left likes to talk about this a lot, which is the anti-BDS laws. Okay. This is just a general rule. If government is going to get into business with companies, then they have the right to determine who they want to be in business with. If a government contract goes out to a weapons manufacturer, for example, all right, and this guy makes the little casings that the rockets go on, right? They have so many of these contracts are around. Or like, forget about that. A food distributor for the army that sells cans of tuna. All right, let's get all weapons out of it. I mean, I can't stop with the army though, because that's really where a lot of their government contracts come in. But, and they sell cans of tuna for the army. And the owner of the distribution company openly talks about how much he loves Hitler. I mean, maybe the Groypers would love that. So they'll be like, what's the problem with that? Fine, how much he hates trans people for the lefties. And how much he loves Hitler. And how, and he just basically says, just spews this ridiculous nonsense. The government's required to stay with them? The government's required to continue paying it? No, just be like, no, we don't want to do business with you anymore. Get out of here. We don't want to do business with you. We don't want to give you our money, our business. We'll go somewhere else. That's what anti-BDS laws are, basically. They are saying that if you support the economic destruction of our ally, we choose not to do business with you. That's it. It's not that crazy, and it's definitely not a violation of free speech. Because they're not saying you cannot do this. They're saying we choose not to reward you for it because you do this. Those are not the same things. So part of this whole free speech thing is that they claim that, oh, they're not anti-Semitic, they're just anti-Zionist. We can't criticize the Israeli government. Let me tell you something. If anti-Zionism was criticizing the Israeli government, there would not be one Zionist in Israel. It would not exist. Israel has more elections than any other country. They had like 5 elections in the span of like a year and a half a few years back. They have so many elections because everyone criticizes the government every which way. Criticizing Netanyahu is literally people's full-time jobs in Israel. There's literally nothing anti-Semitic about that. Where it crosses the line is the claim that Jews cannot have a homeland, or that they're an ethnocentric state, or that they are a colonizing force, that they don't belong there, and everyone should get out of there and go back to where they came from. That's where it crosses the line. That's where we have major issues. And that's where the anti-Semitism is. That's the Zohar Mamdani anti-Semitism. That's the AOC and the Rashida Tlaib and the Ilhan Omar. It's the double standard. That's what makes it anti-Semitic. Not that they're criticizing Bibi. No, criticizing Bibi is pick the policy. Talk about the policy. And also claiming that using Bibi as a scapegoat is also insane. Saying that this is Bibi's war, that this is Bibi's this, Bibi's that. It was a unity government. Everyone agreed. The entire Israeli government. So you're scapegoating Bibi, which is ridiculous. And you're pushing lies and you're pushing a destruction of the state of Israel and claiming and hiding behind, oh, it's not anti-Semitic, it's just anti-Zionist. You're not anti-Zionist. You're anti-Semitic. You just don't want Jews to have a homeland, which is, don't worry, plenty of people, millions of people for thousands of years have thought the same thing. So you're not alone. I mean, but they're all in the ash bin of history. So you will be too. So you'll be in the ash bin of history too. Then they claim, this is also nuts, that they have cultural and media control. This is something that the Groypers complain about all the time. Look how many Jews are in control of this. First of all, it's always hilarious when they make these little graphics and show the Jewish star. But they put them on people, first of all, they put them on people who aren't Jewish all the time. And then they also put them on people who hate Israel, who go against Israel every chance they get. So they say, oh, so many Jews in government, like Jerry Nadler and Chuck Schumer. Those people don't care about Israel one lick. They don't care at all. And yet they say, oh, because they're Jews. But it's not anti-Semitism. It's just anti-Zionism. Chuck Schumer literally tried to interfere in elections. They said Israel should call new elections because he hates Bibi so much and he hates Israel so much. He's been pushing against Israel for years. He told a group of 300,000 Jews in November 2023, and I know this because I was there. He told a group of 300,000 Jews that he will always stand with Israel, and then turned around, walked inside, and voted against Israel in the Senate. That's what he does every time. That's Chuck Schumer. All right? But the idea that Jews control the media, Jews control the media narrative. Let me tell you something. If Jews control the media narrative, you would have a completely different media narrative. You're not pushing against anyone here. Like, you're in complete lockstep with the New York Times, ABC News, NBC News, CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post, LA Times. You're in complete lockstep with all of them, including the Jews who work there and run it in some cases. You think that you're have Jewish control of these things? That Jews control all this? And because of Israel, they do everything because of Israel? You're nuts. It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, the whole Israel first thing. This is the issue, and this is the point. And I'm going to end with this. Nothing they're saying is new. Nothing they're saying it's new twists on old tropes. That's everything that they have, are new twists on old tropes. They push lies and deceit, and they fearmonger, and they have absolutely nothing. There's no stake to that sizzle. Yes, they talk loud and they talk a lot. But there's really nothing there. There's no there. Every single question they ask can be answered easily. Easily. And they pretend that they're America first, America only. They're not. They don't care about America. They don't fight for America. They don't act for America. They have no principles. They're willing to get rid of anything. They're not on the right. They're willing to push socialism and Marxism as much as they want, as much as they can, if it gets to this end of destroying the U.S.-Israel relationship. That's their number one thing. So they call us Israel first. They're Israel first. They think about Israel much more than I do. I think about 50 different topics. And Israel is one of them, of course. Like I said, go back before my lifetime. Go back the entire run of SNL. Go back to any media broadcast. Pick a date in any year for the past 70 years. And you'll say, Israel's in the news again. Israel's here. Israel's there. I don't want it that way. I wish Israel was not in the news. I wish Israel was never in the news. For the same reason why, as the Jewish people do not proselytize, we do not want converts. We don't want to be front facing. We want to just do our thing in the background. Just leave us alone. But they never can. They never can leave us alone. And this is just our generation's fight. Our generation's anti-Semites are these people. Honestly, we have it easy compared to past generations. Look at what my grandparents went through. And by the way, me just saying that, they're going to say, oh, you're weaponizing the Holocaust, which never even happened. It was just a couple 100,000 people killed. Just me saying that. But I'm comparing it. Somebody yells at me on the street for wearing a kippah. That's better than what a lot of people went through in the past. It's better than what people are going through now in Israel. So we have no excuse to not fight, because our fight is easy. Our fight is words. Our fight is making a podcast and talking about it. Our fight is talking to our neighbor, talking to our friend, educating the people around us. That's what our fight is. That's easy to do. I could do that. All right. So this is my first episode of Hill with a View podcast. I hope everyone enjoyed. Bookmark this, because these arguments are going to come back up. And I'll probably have to do a follow-up, because I'm going to hear more complaints. I'll scroll through and see Candace Owens making up something else. I'm going to have to debunk that too. It's going to be fun. All right, make sure to like and subscribe on Spotify, on Apple iTunes, YouTube, wherever you're watching this, Instagram, Facebook, X. I'm going to post these clips. I'm going to post these things. Wherever you're watching it, just subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit the follow, hit the notification bell, whatever it is, on all the platforms, everywhere. All right, my name is Moshe Hill. This has been A Hill with a View.